Hey everybody, I'm Bobby Tonelli back with another tech review on Tech360.tv with the infamous Tian He.
Wow, the word infamous, I really like it, man. Today, we are here to do an extended review. The iPhone 8.
The 8 Plus.
And what everyone's been talking about?
The 10.
10, right? Not X.
Not X. Guys, if you call it X, you're way off the mark. X is Roman numeral for 10. Let's put it out there, let's leave it there. Okay.
Right, okay.
Which one would you like to choose?
Right. Bobby, what do you like about the iPhone 8 Plus?
The screen. The screen size actually is well balanced. It's actually better viewing. So if you're watching videos, you're gonna see more of the video, or I see the video will be larger.
The notch here, a lot of people have been taking digs at Apple for this design. Why did they have to cover up part of the screen? But does it really affect you on a daily basis?
No, it doesn't. Actually, after the first 5-10 minutes using this phone, you forget about it completely. When you're watching videos, there is a black border around the video, which makes the video much smaller than the display unless you zoom in. Honestly, I don't even think about it. I mean, after the first few minutes, it's gone, it disappears.
You will notice that both the 8 and the 10, the size
is relatively the same.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're used to this size already, it just feels pretty good. It feels very natural. I love the glass back, it's easier to grip. Love the new colors. This kind of copperish rose gold / nude color on the iPhone 8 Plus.
And mine is the white version for the iPhone 8.
Yes.
So almost everything about the iPhone 8 and 8 Plus are quite similar, except the size.
A little bit some trivia for you if you didn't know this. Apple does a 7-coat paint process for the back of these phones to make it the color they are. 7 coats of paint. It's like a car.
Yeah, I know. Overall, you do get a very nice sheen to the color, and the glass really adds a very premium touch to it.
It does, it does. It makes it easier to grip as well. I'll tell you what, I mean, I'm not a fan of pink per se on a phone, but I have to say this is actually a very beautiful phone.
There is a slight resemblance to the original iPhone.
Yes.
Just look at the edge here, the aluminum body and everything. I'm very, very worried about this.
Yeah. You know what? These phones, I know Apple says this is the strongest glass they've ever made. They say that about all the glass they make, by the way, and it is very strong. But when you drop it on the ground, it's gonna crack. Here's Apple's leather case right here for the iPhone 10. All right, pop this thing. It's a nice leather case, don't get me wrong, but it looks just like a black phone.
Get a clear case.
Yeah.
Make sure the case is clear with a bit of bumpers around the edges so you can actually kind of cushion it.
This is gonna scratch. So just get a bumper, get a case, or get some tempered glass in the back and get a bumper on it. Just be safe, but get something for it. Apple went all in when they got rid of the, the fingerprint reader, and everyone's going, okay, this could be a disaster for them, but it works. With glasses on, with a hat on, with sunglasses on, unless it's like a polarized lens or something you really can't see your eyes.
We've been chasing after the wireless charging dock for so long.
And we got it. And the great thing about wireless charging docks is that they're not brand specific now. It's all T-wireless. That means no matter if you have Samsung or you have Apple or you have another device, it works.
But fast charging on wireless is still not a reality yet, but it is coming soon.
Yeah.
I'm not too sure when exactly it's going to come in. Was it next year or something?
I probably think next year, I heard something like that.
I want to get your thoughts on the camera. First, with the iPhone 10.
I gotta tell you, this camera is really good. This camera is in the top 3 cameras of all smartphones this year. I put it out there.
So let's do an Apple to Apple comparison.
Right.
Okay, did I just do a pun?
You did a bit of a pun right there. Apple,
Sorry,
Apple.
got a bit cheesy there, but I just had to do it. An Apple to Apple comparison between the 10 and the 8 Plus, because both are using dual cameras. And you are able to do portrait shots with the dual camera setup.
Right.
But personally, because you've been using it more than me, how do you feel in comparison for both phones?
When I had the 8 Plus prior to the 10, I thought it was a great camera. I did notice there was a lot of lens shake going on with the telephoto lens, which if I wanted to, let's say, do a macro shot of a watch, right? It was very shaky, very hard to get sharp. If you're doing it with two-handed, it's not a problem. With the 10, that's all negated because it's OIS. I would say if you want the best camera of all the Apple phones, you spend on the 10.
What really gets people very interested in the 10 is this. The true depth camera system.
That is legit.
Yes.
The camera on the front also has portrait mode now.
Well, personally, I'm not really a selfie person, but I can see the significance of putting a portrait mode on the true depth camera system. Granted, it still takes a bit of getting used to.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's still a bit rough around the edges, literally rough around the edges. But I think it's still a right move for Apple to actually put a portrait mode onto the front camera itself. But we know what a true depth camera is. It's more than just like for you to take selfies.
No, it's more than
right?
that.
So let's talk about Face ID. First question to you, Bobby.
Yes.
Do you think Face ID works for you?
Yes, it does. Works. It works. It works a lot better than I thought it was going to work. It works better than other systems on other phones that I've tried. Like I said before, it works with glasses on, with a hat on, and you can also desensitize it. If you're wearing like really dark sunglasses on, it can still recognize your face.
So imagine in a dark room, you don't have to worry about switching on the light just so that you can unlock the phone with your Face ID.
Right.
You don't even have to rely on a passcode anymore. You sort of have to because it is a requirement to enter a passcode if you have Face ID. But chances are, I don't think you've really used the passcode for the
Only when I'm
passcode.
riding on a motorcycle and I'm like, let's say like at a stoplight, I want to check my phone. It's not going to detect my face in a motorcycle helmet, so I got to use the passcode. There are some times that it doesn't register. For whatever reason, it could be lighting, it could be certain things, and that will always improve over software updates, I'm for sure.
Yeah.
But the thing about Face ID is it is essentially a little bit slower than Touch ID.
I totally agree because Touch ID is just a matter of pressing down and that's it.
That's it.
And think about this, for Apple Pay, for any purchases you do on the App Store, essentially, I think it's much easier for me to do Touch ID, just tap and then you're done.
Right.
But Face ID also has its benefits. Imagine if you're just going to pay for something, you just leave the phone and that's it.
Right.
Well, there's also a joke that I heard when I was in Beijing last week. Someone was saying, oh, would you lend me the iPhone 10?
Yeah.
And then if the Face ID is unlocked, we just purchase an app. Oh, look at the phone! And that's it. You've actually paid through someone else.
But you know what's funny about that is actually I had friends do this. They said, oh, let me see your phone. They put the phone on my face. It didn't unlock unless I took it in my hand and did it.
Oh, that's interesting.
Because it's an angle that you are, how you registered it. So it's very, Apple's got some tricks up their sleeve with this Face ID that's not probably as black and white as you might think it is.
But you see, with the iPhone 10, there is a paradigm shift in the way you use it. Gestures. How long did it take for you to really get the hang of it?
To get through the home screen and everything, I got that within the first few minutes. To actually multitask by going into previous apps open, it took me about a day to figure out the exact movement that consistently opens that up. I was just kind of like lifting up halfway. It can do it, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But it took me a while to figure out that actually the quickest way is just kind of half moon to go to going.
I think what's more important is the overall feel of the phone, how you like it, and also the bells and whistles for it.
Right.
One of which, Animoji.
Animoji so
This guy was so excited, he just sent me Animojis non-stop after he got a phone.
It is fun. It actually is fun. It's a little, when I first heard about it, I don't know what you thought. I thought that it was a gimmick and I'm like, okay, who's gonna use this? Seriously? Really? Like Animojis? I mean, when you see Steve Jobs, announcing the iPhone back in 2004, right? No, sorry, 2007.
No, 2007.
Oh my gosh, 2007. Would Steve Jobs ever do an Animoji face? You know what I mean? Like, you see the latest keynote and they do it, and you're kind of going, okay. But then when you play with it, it is so much fun, and it's actually creepy how well it works. It's like Pixar on your phone. It is really that good.
I see what you did there, Pixar on your phone. When I heard about it, I was like, is it really gimmicky? Does it seem like it's a life changer of sorts? To be honest, I only spent really maybe a day or so with the 10 and I started using a bit of like Animoji. Well, it is fun, but here's the thing. It's not locked into the iPhone 10. You can actually send it out through WhatsApp, through, Facebook?
You can send out through it because it becomes as a video file. It's a GIF or a video file. But here's the downside of it, which I think Apple is going to implement through all their keyboards, right? Because you can only access it through the iMessage. I have a feeling Apple's going to implement the Animoji icon into their keyboards very soon. If they don't, they should, because this is going to be a huge hit across platforms. I wouldn't be surprised if Android even comes out with their own version of Animoji. What is something you didn't like about the 10 that you used when you used it for a day?
It's great that you have now an edge-to-edge display. It's so much better to view Netflix or whatever movies you have on the phone. But this notch, yes, it does block off the whole area, so it doesn't seem like you have a one little notch here that kills off the screen unexpectedly.
There is limitations in terms of, let's say if you want to shoot a RAW file, you can't do that natively in the iPhone app. Because now I use Lightroom because I edit a lot of photography and so forth. you notice that there's not a lot of dynamic range in the photo in terms of adjusting the shadows and blacks and whites and so forth before it starts breaking up. It's great for if you're just posting up on social media or Facebook and so forth, but if you're looking to really do some creative, interesting edits, then you are going to see some limitations into that. With the processor Apple has in this phone and the lens it has, I do wish they enabled a RAW or DNG file format to take a photo with. And that way you could get a larger file size, you could edit a lot more, and I think it would rival a lot of smaller point and shoots that way. Siri. Being local in Singapore, I don't know about in America because I haven't used Siri with this phone in America, but in Singapore alone, if I'm looking for an address here in Singapore, it has no idea what I'm asking. It just says, I can't find that, or what we think it would be on the web and it's not even close to it. Siri is lacking behind that local context search. Even certain commands, if you want to access certain things on the phone, it's very basic in what you can do. And I feel, especially with the 10, being that you really have very minimal buttons on it now, and it really is, utilizing your face and things like that.
To be honest, I'm not really a fan of the voice assistants. For me, when I'm using my Singapore English, sometimes I do get hits, but I do get misses once in a while.
Hey Siri, can you open up Spotify?
And
Yeah, it says, can you close Spotify?
I would like to. I can't close apps.
See? I said, can you open up Spotify? It says, I can't close.
let's try it with me.
Yeah.
Hey Siri. Hey Siri.
I'm not sure I understand.
Siri's like going on a bad date. When you're like you're meeting a person for the first time and you're just not connecting. That's how I'm feeling right now with Siri. We're not connecting. We just don't have that spark. So,
Are you going on a second date with Siri then? You want to give it a second chance,
Well,
don't you?
because the overall package is pretty good, you kind of want to give Siri a second chance.
Okay, we are going a bit too far into this realm here, but Siri has its benefits. It's just that it's, again, a bit rough around the edges.
Yeah.
Give it time, it will work.
Yeah, there you go.
Now, here's the bigger question. 8 Plus or 10? Which one should you go for?
Ooh. I did some blind tests with people. I actually showed both phones and I said, which one do you like? Half chose the 8 Plus over the 10 because they're comfortable with the design of it, the size of it. They like the button. They like the home button. It makes them feel more secure.
People like the iPhone 8 Plus because it's a tried and tested product. They've been seeing how Apple has been improving the iPhones for the past few years.
Right.
They're still very familiar with the Touch ID. Just touch and go. Screen-wise and everything, they're comfortable. The whole size, everything. Camera, yes, they're all familiar with it. But if you were to move on to the iPhone 10, the whole point is you are sort of taking a risk, but in a good way, because you are part of the early adopters that are trying out the new technology. You're actually kind of helping Apple figure out how to improve the iPhone 10, and subsequently, maybe next year, they might even phase out the iPhone 8, because if it's around the same size, they could have the iPhone 10 as one of the mainstream phones. The iPhone 8 Plus could be a Pro version. Whether or not they'll include new features on the iPhone 8 Plus, I'm not too sure about it. If I would ask you to really choose and take one phone back with you,
Honestly, it's the form factor of the 10. It's the form factor. I do like a full OLED screen. I like the feel of it. I like the dual lens with OIS on the back and the better dynamic range. So I would spend the extra bucks because this is going to be, I feel, more future-proof, especially your investment. Long-term, this is going to be more future-proof in the long run. I feel this is the last time we're going to see the Plus version as it is. So, you know what? If you want to keep a phone for 2 years, spend the extra money, go on the 10. If you want to keep a phone for a year, and you're like, I'm not too keen on the 10 right now, then go with the 8 Plus and you're okay.
8 has always been one of my top choices
Yeah.
because I really like the form factor. But now that there's the 10, I'm a bit torn. Form factor is around the same size. You actually get a lot more with the iPhone 10.
Yep.
And what you say about the camera, wow, I actually really like how the camera works for the iPhone 10, especially with the dual OIS for both cameras.
Right.
Price point, yes, it is sort of a concern.
It's a pinch. It's a pinch.
Yeah, it is.
It is. It's a big upgrade. But look, I always tell people when they're buying electronics, don't buy the cheapest thing out there because you're going to end up upgrading in a few months to a year anyway. Buy something that is gonna last you for a couple years. Make your money go longer. So I would say between these two, it's form factor, battery life, comfort wise, but if you really want to get the most out of your money for the long term, go with the 10 because you know this design is going to be around at least for 2 years.